Each module has an individual address that's located just to the left of the ribbon cable connection. Also, if you go to the far lower left-hand corner of each module, there is an override switch. The override switch forces the relays into either an on state if you go to the far right-hand side. If it's in the center position, it allows for the processor at the base of the unit to control the lights as well as the override switch over by the front door. And if you go to the far left-hand corner, as you can see, it turns the lights off, forces the relays into an off state. So you always want to have that in the center position to allow for the processor to operate. If your processor goes offline though, that way you can override the lights on and be able to go about your day until a service tech can get out here and repair the system. Coming down the modules themselves, each module consists of 8 relays. You have 4 relays mounted on an upper board, and directly below that you have 4 more relays located on the board as well. Coming down the ribbon cable, it connects to a power supply card. On the power supply card you should always have those 2 LEDs illuminated. One is for 12 volts, one is for 24 volts. That gives you a reference as to the availability of those 2 power sources for the system. The system needs both the 12 and the 24 to function correctly. You have a thermal fan here, which is typically used for dimming systems, but being that this is a breaker panel, they automatically come with the fans as a spec. Down here at the base of the unit you have the keypad. The keypad should always have the name, either the first floor or second floor, because you have the 2 panels. It should have start display and the current time and date. If the time and date is not displayed correctly, all you have to do is push the button that references that line and modify the time to be correct. And then push enter and it'll take the new time. And you can walk away because it'll time out, or you can push the back button until you get to that start display screen. You have 2 cables here. You have a green cable and a blue cable. The green cable allows communication from this panel to the panel upstairs. The blue cable allows communication from this panel to the override switch located by the front door. They are connected in the side of the chassis right here, as well as you have a red and black that's going right up here to the power supply card. What that does is that provides 24 volts out to the digital switch located by the front door. Directly above and to the left of the power connection, you'll see there's an override switch, an on and an off. Sometimes with the storms that we've been having come through, like your computer at home, it may get bumped offline to where it's not operating correctly and you need to do a reboot. All you need to do is cycle that switch to the off state. The controller will shut down. The state of the relays will not change. Put it back in the on position and the controller will start to reboot for you. Directly to the right of the processor, you'll see we got a transformer here. What the transformer does is it supplies the 24 and 12 volts to the power supply card located at the base, at the back side of the unit. And we are feeding that via 120 volt that is actually coming off of this breaker right here. So another way to reboot this processor if needed, instead of having to pull the cover off of the panel if you have people that you don't want to have access to it, because there is a lot of line voltage in here that could shock somebody, they can just shut off this number 6 breaker right here and then bring it right back on, and that'll reboot the processor. But in doing so, the state of the relays will change. They will open during that time frame, and once power is restored, they will close if they were indicative of being closed at that time. Scheduled events, you don't have anything scheduled to come on, so you don't have to worry about it missing a scheduled event in the mornings. If there is a power outage at, say, 9:45 at night and somebody left the lights on, the sweep that happens at 10 o'clock, if power is not restored until 3 in the morning, so to speak, once power is restored, the system goes to the last state it was in prior to the power outage. So what you would see is if you came in the next morning, the lights may be on for no reason. That's because those sweeps that are scheduled for 10 o'clock, midnight, as well as 2 o'clock in the morning, according to the system, they never occurred. No need to fret. You'll be able to still do the override switch accordingly, and the next evening the sweeps will occur as well. Any questions that you have in regards to the system, Charles? Okay. If you have any questions, by all means, you can contact me at 404-391-7928 or my email address, which is